Okay, so if you're running a local service business, you've probably heard this a million times. Just pour more money into online ads, right? But what if that's actually not the best advice? What if there's a more powerful, more human way to become the go-to name in your town? Well, today we're going to dive into a strategy that's all about making real connections, not just chasing clicks. Look, the reality is trying to outshout and outspend your competition online is a brutal game. You're constantly fighting for a sliver of attention in this incredibly crowded, noisy digital world. It's just an endless race that can completely drain your budget without building any kind of real, lasting foundation for your business. So, if shouting louder isn't the answer, then what is? It all boils down to one single word: trust. The most sustainable way for any local business to grow isn't by desperately chasing attention. It's by building a rock-solid reputation. It's about becoming the business that people in your town don't just know of, but they genuinely know and trust. So, how do you actually build that trust? Well, spoiler alert, it's not about launching yet another ad campaign. The absolute fastest way is through physical presence. I'm talking about showing up where your customers actually are. Because when it comes down to it, people hire businesses they feel a real human connection to. And that right there is why in-person events are such a secret weapon. When people can meet you face to face, they see the real person, the real team behind the logo. That personal interaction, it instantly builds confidence. It shows you're professional, and you can turn a complete stranger into one of your biggest advocates. Let's just put these side by side for a second. Online ads, they're totally impersonal, and you're fighting with, well, everyone. But at a community event, you're building a ton of trust through direct personal connection, and a lot of the time, there's very little competition. You stop being just another ad in their feed, and you become a familiar, trusted face. All right, let's get practical. I know you might be thinking that hosting events sounds complicated or super expensive, but it really doesn't have to be. This playbook is all about simple, high-impact things you can start doing, like tomorrow. And first things first, let's just be clear about what we mean by event. We are not talking about some massive, elaborate production that costs a fortune. Nope. The best local events are simple and super approachable, the kind of thing people can just casually stop by. I mean, think about it. A simple open house, a customer appreciation day with some coffee and donuts, even a little pop-up booth at a local farmer's market. All of these are totally achievable. The goal isn't to be fancy, it's just to create a space for a real conversation. Here's a perfect example to really make this click. Imagine you're a landscaper. Instead of another flyer, you host a free spring yard prep workshop. Instantly, you're not just a service provider, you're the local expert. You're not selling hard, you're just providing value and building that all-important trust. And this brings us to the golden rule for any event you host. Keep the pressure low. The entire goal is just to create a relaxed space where people can meet you, find out what you do, and ask a few questions. That's it. You're aiming for exposure and trust, not a hard sell right then and there. Now, if you want to get the absolute highest return on your time, and who doesn't? We're going to focus on two key tactics: teaming up with local partners and using some really simple, effective promotion. This one is a total game changer. Partnering with another local business lets you tap into their existing customer base. It's an incredible shortcut to get introduced to a whole new audience that, by the way, already trusts the business you're partnering with. And you know, potential partners are literally everywhere once you start looking. Just think, where do your ideal customers already hang out? A gym, a local coffee shop, a real estate agency. These are all fantastic opportunities for collaboration that helps both of you out. And promoting your event doesn't require some giant marketing campaign either. These simple and mostly free tactics are all you really need. A quick post on your Google business profile, a few Instagram stories, some flyers at your partner's shop. It's amazing how effective that can be. So, when should you start promoting? The sweet spot is about 1 week in advance. You know, any earlier and people might forget about it, any later and they won't have time to fit it in their schedule. 1 week out keeps it fresh and top of mind. Okay, this next part is absolutely critical. Hosting a great event is one thing, but if you don't have a clear next step for people to take, you're leaving a huge opportunity on the table. We need a simple plan to turn all that goodwill and interest into actual action. And that plan is just 4 simple steps. 1. Offer a small, clear incentive just for first-timers. 2. Make it super easy for them to book right there on the spot. 3. Collect their contact info, with their permission, of course. And 4, and this is crucial, always follow up within 48 hours. That's how a friendly chat turns into a loyal customer. All right, let's pull back to the big picture here. This isn't about a one-time splash. The real power comes from making this kind of community engagement a regular, ongoing part of your business. It's the long game that builds an absolutely unbeatable local reputation. And to make it a habit, you've got to measure what actually matters. So forget those old vanity metrics, like how many people showed up or how many likes your post got. The real measures of success are over on the right. How many new bookings did you get? How many contacts did you collect? And how many referrals did it generate? That's what drives real growth. And building this rhythm doesn't have to be overwhelming at all. Just aim to host one small event of your own each quarter. Then try to join in on an existing community event once a month. And all the while, just keep nurturing those local partnerships. It's that consistency that builds unstoppable momentum over time. So let's bring it all home with the one big idea we started with. The most powerful marketing tool you have as a local business isn't your ad budget. It's your ability to just show up, to connect, and to be a trusted, familiar presence in your community. So that brings us to the final question, and this one's for you. After hearing all this, what's just one small, simple event you could plan this quarter to start putting this powerful strategy into action for your own business?